Hello everyone, welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Jessie Lee and I'm coming at you with video number 15. As you can see, my hair is blue now and that happened because I really needed to bleach my roots. And of course, after bleaching my hair, I needed to dye some color back in and I was pretty much out of my purple dye. But I had been making my signature purple color by mixing in a bit of blue dye, and I had plenty of that left, so I ended up just going with it. And I decided to go blue in part because I've been planning ahead. In the fall and winter time, I think that forest green hair will actually go best with my wardrobe for that time of year. And blue is just a really handy transition color to get from purple hair to green hair. So my hair is just gonna be blue for a little bit. It's kind of funny because you think of people who have crazy colored hair like mine as being free-spirited and spontaneous, but clearly I'm not like that because I am really overthinking these things. Anyways, in other news, my family and I went camping again this past week. It was pretty cute. Tim actually took the initiative to plan this trip immediately after we got back from our first camping trip. He just had such a fantastic time that he could not wait to go camping again, so he squeezed in one more vacation into our summer. And this time we went to Perot State Park in Wisconsin, and that park is alongside the Mississippi River, and our campsite was right on the water and had the most gorgeous view. It was absolutely incredible. We stayed there for just one overnight, and it was a much more relaxing trip because we didn't have to pack as much or spend as much time setting up camp, and also the kids knew more of what to expect because this was their second time going camping, so they were a lot more chill. And we spent most of the time just hanging out at our campsite, roasting tons of marshmallows, and just taking in the view. It was really nice. It was such a sweet little trip. I definitely want to go back to that park and hopefully get that campsite in particular because it was just really astounding how beautiful it was. And yeah, it was just a really nice last hurrah before the kids start school again this coming week. Glenn and Sylvia are going into first grade, and we are all so happy for school to be starting again. My kids are both autistic, and they just really thrive off the routine that school gives them. And last year in kindergarten, they just really had a wonderful experience in spite of all the challenges because of the pandemic. And they really fell in love with their school and they are excited to be going back. And I think that is such a blessing because they do have special needs and they need extra help. And they're a bit different from the other kids. And I'm just really relieved that they are happy at their school and their school has been really good for them. Anyways, Stitch Again Sam was also talking about her daughters returning to school in her last video, and she said something that I completely relate to, and that was when her kids go back to school, she does not find it poignant in any way. Nope. Instead, she finds it exciting and she celebrates having a bit more freedom since her kids will be away part of the day. And I feel exactly the same way. I am looking forward to having more time to myself and also more time just with Tim. And I have a lot of ideas in mind of what I would like to accomplish while my kids are out of my hair for a lot of the day. One of the things I would like to do is start a new cross-stitch project. And it's one that Sam herself totally enabled me to pick up. And it is Through the Storms by Silver Creek Samplers. It looks like this. It's got the adorable duckies in the rain. And it reads, "No relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share one umbrella and walk through the storms together." Sam is stitching this in honor of her wedding anniversary coming up, and I will be doing the same. Tim's and my 11th anniversary will be in October, and this piece just feels really meaningful at this time because 2018 was a year when our life plans totally got blown up in our face, and we went through some big changes since then, and now we are finally at a point where things are really settled. And now Tim and I are just sort of regrouping as a couple. So I think stitching this up to celebrate our anniversary will be really special. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you, Sam, for the inspiration. I never would have known about this piece if it weren't for you. And I didn't just buy the pattern, I also got all the floss for it. This is a huge boost to my fancy floss collection. I have Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and the Gentle Art all in here. So that's some cool haul. I'm really excited. Since I've been talking about Stitch Again Sam, I also want to shout out a couple other Flosstubers who've been on my mind, starting with Elizabeth Martinez. Her Flosstube used to be called Fanta Stitches, but now it's just her name, Elizabeth Martinez, and I've been a subscriber of hers for some time now. She is such an interesting lady. She and her family are all musicians, and she really loves animals like I do, and many of her whips feature wildlife, especially cute bunnies. And right now, she's working on a whip that has an image of cute cats sitting all in a row on a fence, and she was nice enough to shout out my Instagram SAL that I'm doing, hashtag SAL all the kitties, and that really meant a lot to me. So I want to return the favor and shout out Elizabeth's Instagram SAL going on. She is doing a SAL called hashtag Super Showstopper SAL. And it's her continuation of the Showstopper SAL done by Cross Stitch Camp. And Elizabeth is inviting everyone to join in her SAL and show off our progress on our biggest, most fancy whips. The other Flosstubers I'd like to shout out are newcomers. They recently posted their third Flosstube video, and their channel name is X's and Hughs. It is a duo of sisters with fantastic senses of humor, obviously, and their names are Jackie and Justine. I'm always excited to meet another Justine, and they're just a hoot, you guys. Justine is slightly obsessed with turkey patterns, and Jackie is a newer stitcher, and her whips are more eclectic. Again, they are just a joy to watch. They are so funny. I love their banter. They have a lot of charisma, and you guys really need to go check them out and welcome them to our community. Okay, now I will move along to my whips. And I have had a really interesting time stitching these past couple of weeks. I had a new start, and that was the piece I'm doing for Sal All the Kitties. And it is Life with Cats Royal Audience by the Blue Flower. And I am cruising right along on this piece. It is so much fun, and it's coming together quickly. And here's where I ended up. Show it to you a little closer and in front of my face so my camera will actually focus on it. As you can see, I got the words all done. I think the font is just so sweet and cute. And then I got the entire outline of the chair and also a lot of the quilt hanging over the back. The colors of the chair and the quilt so far look really washed out because they're just against the fabric. Once they are surrounded by all the other colors, I'm sure they will pop just fine and look really beautiful. I'm stitching this in my own color scheme that I put together using some Classic Colorworks and DMC. And this fabric is Winter's Brew by R&R Reproductions, and it's 40 count. This is my first time stitching on 40 count, and it has been a breeze because this fabric is so dreamy and wonderful to work with. I'm having a great time. This stitch is coming together so well and so quickly that the night that I got to my stopping point, I discovered that I had a bit of leftover stitching time before I had to go to bed. So I got to throw a couple stitches in my Quaker piece sampler, which is really fun because I don't work on this one very often. It is my back burner project for when I just can't stand to work on my higher priority whips. So this one got a tiny bit of love, and it was the outline here of this little clover. So I'm getting closer to finishing up the first motif in the sampler. Won't that be nice? And then, of course, I have been stitching on my Temperature Garden by Sarah the Stitchin Mommy. I finished up the flower bed for August here. The temperatures around here have been trying to come down little by little, so I got to stitch a few more orange petals, which was really nice after stitching so much yellow this entire summer. I know I always joke about having to show this piece in every video, but this one is really fun and I really love it. But wait, I saved my most exciting stitching for last, and that is my mini finish of my grandma on my Birthstone Girls whip. Here she is, my Grandma Bernice, with her topaz for her August birthday and her pretty pink dress. I especially love how her brown curly hair turned out, and I think she looks just precious. So here's my grandma with my mom, and then also my daughter. And then I will also, of course, stitch myself with my birthstone during my own birth month, which is October. So very soon, this piece will be all finished, and I'm really excited about it because it is so special and meaningful. This whip is something that I made up myself based on the patterns Birthstones 1 and 2 by Soda Stitch. And I Frankensteined bits and pieces of those Birthstone girls to make my own new Birthstone girls that best represent myself and my family members. So that is that on that. Well, that is all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. And remember that God loves you and I love you. And of course, happy stitching. Bye-bye.